Greetings, I am the Kaiju no Kami, founder and CEO of Creativity by Design LLC. Here at Creativity by Design, we strive to give you... Greetings, everyone. I'm gonna let you finish your broadcast about Kamen Rider 01 later. However, I have decided it is more important to talk about a much better Kamen Rider series. And that is the greatest Kamen Rider series. What the hell?
It was too dark.
Can't you see I was in the middle of a pirate broadcast?
And?
Ruin my fun all the time. What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to take a look at the first Kamen Rider series that kicked off the Heisei era, Kamen Rider Kuuga.
Also known as Kamen Rider Death to Grongi.
Yes, the Grongi. Those are the villains, in case you didn't know. Without any rhyme or reason, the Kamen Rider franchise was put on an extended hiatus after the completion of Kamen Rider Black Rx. There was a trilogy of feature films, but for some reason, no full-length series was present throughout the 90s. It is believed the lack of Kamen Rider was due to the success of Metal Heroes, at least initially, and that Kamen Rider returned to the airwaves when the ratings of the Metal Heroes franchise plummeted into unacceptable territory. Kamen Rider entered a new age in January of 2000 when Toei hired writer Naruhisa Arakawa of Gokaiger, Alba Ranger, Deca Ranger, Killer Major, Akiba Ranger fame to bring the franchise back to the top. Kamen Rider Kuuga was an instant success that relaunched the franchise that has been going strong ever since. It is also worth noting that Kuuga was the first series Toei filmed in the widescreen format to take advantage of the cinematic feel new TVs were able to provide. Kuuga is to Kamen Rider what Tiga was to Ultraman, at least as far as reigniting the spark of the franchise is concerned. Is Kuuga a solid relaunch, or were audiences just desperate for new Kamen Rider content? Watch to find out. The Heroes. Kamen Rider made its return by featuring a series that only had one armored hero, the very pleasant Godai Yusuke, the Freshmaker.
Fresh goes better with Mentos, fresh and volatile.
Mentos, the Freshmaker.
Joe Odagiri plays this very relatable and cheerful vagabond who loves traveling across the world for adventure. At the start of the series, he returns to Japan to visit friends and family, only to find that the archaeological team from his former university had recently been murdered by a mysterious creature that woke up in some ruins. This leads him into putting on an ancient belt in order to protect those he cares about, transforming himself into the warrior known as Kamen Rider Kuuga.
Hey, shit!
Kuuga.
As Kuuga, he hosts a series of forms that give him unique abilities and fighting styles that fit any situation he may find himself a part of. One of the things I adore about Kuuga is he actually starts out with a white and black body that essentially acts as a larva stage before it evolves into a red, black, and gold one. Another thing I like at the start is how he transforms into Kuuga sequentially. His red form is pretty much his main form that balances speed and melee attacks, similarly to the multi-type Ultraman Tiga had. The other styles include a blue form that increases his speed, jump distance, while decreasing his attacks, and allows him to transform any object he touches into a staff or spear. useful when a monster is on top of a rooftop so that Yusuke does not have to run up an entire staircase all the way to the top of a building, as we did see in one episode.
Where are we? It looks like we're in the teens somewhere.
The green form improves his hearing on top of him becoming an expert marksman to take out villains from a distance. Lastly, he can don a purple and gray body armor which morphs objects into a sword, allowing him to handle a monster that specializes in strength.
Yes, they're all very nice forms and very good at killing Grongi. Why have we not gotten to the killing Grongi part yet?
All of these forms have additional upgrades later on that increase their damage capabilities, not just to the monsters themselves, but even the environmental surroundings. I don't think there's ever been another Kamen Rider series where there are repercussions for explosions happening the same way Kuuga did.
未確認生命体第4号が39号を殺害した際、激しい爆発が起き、多数の被害がもたらされましたが、調べによりますと、被害の範囲は半径およそ3キロに及び、割れた窓ガラスはおよそ10万7000枚。
Surprisingly, Kuuga does not actually obtain his ultimate form until the climactic battle, of which you will have to experience for yourself. Kuuga is a fantastic example of how to make a rider having various forms work efficiently without feeling like a burden, something that seems to be lost in the modern age of rider shows. Another thing I adore with Kuuga is how he actually works with the police department. They are the ones who provide him with his bike and often the equipment needed to help battle the Grongi. Anytime he needs a gun for his green form, he will often borrow them from an officer, specifically those he directly assists.
邪悪なるものあらば、その姿を彼方より知りて、疾風のごとく邪悪を射抜く戦士あり。
You are going to return that government property, right? His bike, called the Tri-Chaser, is a prototype motorcycle the police have been working on to improve the time frame they could arrive at a crime scene, which becomes Yusuke's main form of travel. What's equally enjoyable is watching a Kamen Rider who actually spends their time riding a bike, as the name implies. In fact, Kuuga is the only series in the entire Heisei era that sees 55 minutes of bike action, with Blade being in second with just under 30 minutes. We even get a scene of Kuuga riding through traffic, which is a rarity for a Kamen Rider series. There is a computerized stag beetle creature that also assists Yusuke later on that encompasses his bike-like armor, allowing him to use the bike as a weapon against heavily reinforced monsters. While Kuuga may be the sole rider of the show, he is not without a plethora of teammates, all of whom are competent and treat the situation in a serious manner. First up is the 37-year-old detective Kaoru Ichijo.
俺を助けた。まさか。
Ichijo's father was a detective who died in the line of duty and is his inspiration to be one himself. The emerging attacks in Japan is what leads him to befriend Yusuke, and the best bromance imaginable is formed.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Guy love, that's all it is. Guy love, he's mine, I'm his.
You know what makes this joke even funnier? Actor Shingo Katsurayama plays the saxophone. Anyway, Katsurayama brings a wonderful addition to the show despite not being a writer, for he is a very competent cop that strives to be the best protector imaginable. It is quite nice to see cops be competent, even if they do tend to die a lot. And do I mean a lot.
大丈夫ですか大丈夫ですか大丈夫ですか
There are a couple of other detectives who often help Ichijo out, along with a scientist woman by the name of Hikari Inakita, who is constantly having her team work on new weapons the government has approved of in dealing with the Grongi. And Nikita's relationship with her son is strained as she is a workaholic who is also studying Yusuke's abilities to help him improve along with trying to learn new things in regard to the Grongi, given they are both similar in nature to one another.
まで出んだよな未確認のやつら。
Oh, and a coroner who seems to be jealous of Ichijo and Yusuke's relationship.
探して悪かったな。いい相棒じゃねえか。
On top of the police, Yusuke is helped by his sister Minori, a school teacher,
いろいろあったんだね、長野で。
まだいろいろあると思うんだ、長野で。
あるんだ。
あると思う。
そうなんだ。
his former colleague and possible love interest who is one of the only survivors of her department, Sakurako Sawatari,
城南大学の沢渡です。よろしくお願いします。ちょっと大変なことになりそうだよ。
the owner of a curry shop Yusuke often resides at when he is in town,
これダメだ。気持ち悪い。これはもうね、エベレスト級、いやチョモランマ級にまずい。
his niece who also has a crush on Yusuke,
何してはるん？
ほら、クーガのマーク剥げちゃったから塗り直してたんだ。
クーガ？
クーガ。
野球とかバレーが強い国の？
それはキューバ。
Yusuke's former teacher,
こういうの知ってるか。古代ローマで満足できる、納得できる行動をした者にだけ与えられる仕草だ。
and another member of the archaeology team, Jean-Michael Sore.
一緒に作ってあげてください。
どうして？
ひかりさん、仕事を大切にしてるのとても素晴らしいけど、サユル君多分寂しい。
All of these characters continuously show up throughout the series, making their importance crucial regardless of how minor their roles may appear to be, with Sakurako, Minori, and the curry shop owner being the most vital. Sakurako constantly spends days in her school's office trying to translate the hieroglyphics found in the ruins in order to help Yusuke defeat the Grongi once and for all.
どう解読の方は。
来て。クーガの色ね、他にもまだあるみたいなの。
どんなの？
まだわかんない。
あら。
It is nice to have a batch of female characters who are not resorting to being just damsels in distress, as there is only one or two instances when their lives may be in danger. As for Pops, as the curry shop owner is often nicknamed, he's hilarious.
誰やねんそれ。
声優だよ。アランドロンの声やってた。
アランドロンって誰？
It's also great seeing him and Jean get into conversations about famous actors and the like from time to time.
杉村春子。お、あるいは田中絹代。お、はたまた都町長。
どの人も僕大好きですよ。
それは素晴らしい。
Minori, Sakurako, and Pops are played by Wakana Chizaki, Kazumi Murata, and Kitaro.
せめて吉永小百合ぐらいになってくれればと思ってんだけどね。
せめてってやつ。
藤純子でもいいな。若尾綾子いいな。
The villains. The Grongi are a vicious lot of despicable creatures you can't help but love.
Hey, hey, hey! Aren't you forgetting a certain someone?
Am I?
You forgot the most evil of all the Grongi, the one who sealed their race's fate, the one whose cruelty denies them any sympathy, ever, ever, ever. You're forgetting Zuzenda,
Which one is that?
the Rhino Grongi. This belligerent beefcake committed the ultimate crime. He took a life that can never be replaced. He, more than any other Grongi, deserves no sympathy or mercy.
You have to be a bit more specific. they have killed a lot of people.
He killed Mikado.
Who?
It was a German shepherd. It was a good puppy. Just look at how cute this puppy is.
And?
Well, this Grongi killed that puppy.
Mikado.
Why is a puppy more important than any other person that was killed?
I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that.
As with the norms of Kamen Rider, the Grongi are based on regular plants and animals found throughout the world. All of them have a human form where they dress like a 90s goth fashionista and play a game of who can murder the most humans. I swear, Kuuga may have the highest body count of any Toku show. We even learn how many victims there have been at times.
すでに未確認生命体は第20号まで出現し、それによる犠牲者は警察官を含めれば278名にも及んでいる。
Okay, look, here's the thing. You know that saying that one death is tragic, a million is a statistic? Yeah, it's kind of in play here. The Grongi rack up a death count that is horrific. Absolutely terrible.
There are just as many positives to the Grongi as there are negatives. On the negative side of the spectrum, they have little to no character development and really are just your typical monsters of the week, or rather, every other week, given most episodes are two-parters. There's a couple that do receive some development, however, for the most part, the ones that last more than a single story don't really accomplish much as they're just a background character until it is their turn to play the game. I do like this concept.
They must all burn! Burn in the fires of justice!
Alternatively, monsters who have no ulterior motive other than just to kill the most humans does add a sense of dread into the mix, for they have no reason for what they do. They just do it for the sake of having fun.
ルールに従っていかにリントを殺すか最高のゲームだ。獲物を追い狩りをする。それ以外に意味はない。
The Grongi are broken up through a class system of tribes, where the lower tribes are allowed to play the game before the hierarchy ones do, all of whom are led by a woman known simply as the woman with the rose tattoo. Some of you may be familiar with actress Mia Namamori, for she also played Deca Bright in Deca Ranger.
リントも変わったな。
待て!
No mercy, no retreat. Do them on their houses.
The Grongi designs are clearly based on the people of an ancient civilization, and yet they are like the unknowns in Nagito in that you know you're fucked if you were to ever meet one. The basic muscular motif also means a suit actor can often maneuver around to their fullest ability, which is something an evil monster that is killing large masses of people should be like. Watching the Grongi learning to interact with modern day innovations is as satisfying as it is frightening thanks to a Grongi who learns how to drive. One of my favorites is the grasshopper Grongi who wears a scarf where he is clearly meant to be an homage to Showa riders.
Do them on their houses. Okay, see, the thing you're doing right now, not showing the Grongi killing, see, we need less of that and more of the opposite. Come on, show me some Grongi fireworks.
Fine, here.
Yes, excellent. Mikado shall be avenged.
Now are you happy?
You sure there aren't any extra Grongi to kill? I could rock this rage for another several months.
No! Now go away.
Well, phooey on you.
The effects and music. The effects are not always Kuga's strong point, while the music is excellent. One of the most interesting things Toei did with the effects of Kuuga is that they tried to intermix CGI, green screen, and practical effects all into one giant smorgasbord, which can leave the viewer with a bit of whiplash. I would be lying if I said they held up well today. I applaud Toei for experimenting rather than playing it safe. We are treated to a glut of exceptional fight scenes thanks to the variety of effects utilized throughout Kuuga's entirety. The first episode features a battle atop a moving helicopter, which may appear clunky because of its limitations in maneuverability, yet it's very exciting just to see what they attempted. The second episode has a battle set in a burning church that gives the fight a unique sense of style due to the lighting the fire invokes. We've got wicked bike stunts. A climactic battle in the snow that is beyond badass. Camera work is equally exceptional.
せいぜい楽しめ。
Scenes revolving around the Grongi include a variety of colors and filters to separate them from those of everyday people, signifying how their race is subdued and separated from normal society.
木の柄もうダメだな。
無知なやつ。ギノガは撃たれるほど強くなるの。チョグギバ、ゾグザ。
チンチョグザ。ボンバロボ。ジバグバンデゾンビバ。
It's a technique that would pop up in subsequent series, such as Blade, and will continue to be appreciated whenever it is used. Like with Agito after it, Toshihiko Sahashi helmed the soundtrack and his music was as incredible here as it was there. I don't really have much more to say about Kuuga's soundtrack that I didn't say in my Agito review other than the music fits every scene. Scenes that are meant to sound creepy chill you to the bone, while the tracks that are meant to be energetic keep you hyped up for the action occurring on screen. While I didn't cover them in my Agito review outside of the Big O, some of Sahashi's other credits include Kamen Rider Hibiki, Den-O, Fullmetal Panic, Ultraman Mabius, Kyoryuger, Car Ranger, Gingaman, the Gundam Seed series, and the anime adaptations of Fatal Fury. Masayuki Tanaka sings the self-titled opening song to Kuuga, and it is fantastic. It gets your blood boiling for the intensity you are about to watch. Alternatively, Jin Hashimoto's ending theme, Awazora Ninaru, is a somber but hopeful tune that eases you out of the show's mood as you head back into the depressing matters that is your life. I kid. I think. Right? I am kidding? I hope so. I don't know why, but every time I see this ending theme, I start thinking of this song. The episodes. Kamen Rider Kuuga is another one of those series that is just absolutely engaging from start to finish, without a single episode that I hated. The weakest episodes in the entire show are easily the 2 clip shows that occur. I'm not sure why Kuuga needed to have 2 of them, but they did, which kinda sucked. I'll give it some leeway, however, for it was the first Kamen Rider series in over a decade. Nevertheless, Arakawa was the perfect person to resurrect what was a dead franchise at the time, for he held nothing back in giving his vision of what a Kamen Rider series would be like. Kuuga plays out more like a cop drama than it does a tokusatsu series. There are times where there may not even be a battle sequence until the last 2 minutes of an episode, while occasionally there may not be an actual battle at all. There's even one point toward the end of the series where the big battle happens at the beginning of the episode, and the remainder of it is building up to a greater conflict that will have a huge revelation in the next. You never know what you are going to get with Kuuga, and the series' enjoyability is excelled for it. There are plenty of episodes I can call my favorite, as there was a whole slew of exceptional episodes to be had. My favorite duo are the 2-parters titled Uneasiness and Strengthening. In these 2 episodes, the Mantis Grongi finally gets her turn to take part in the game. She has what may be the most terrifying means to kill people with her double-bladed weapon.
振り向くな。
This method is just downright horrible, while being an intriguing way to go about killing people.
振り向くな。
This pair is the one story that has stuck with me for the last decade whenever I think of Kuuga, and it was once again a treat to revisit these episodes, for they were as strong as I remembered. Not to mention it showcased that the Grongi do not care about a person's age. A victim is a victim no matter what. Holy shit! No age restrictions here. The specials. Due to a lack of funding, Kuuga did not have a theatrical film. Instead, there were a couple of specials. There's an hour-long clip show episode that was shown for New Year's that is pretty insignificant. The best features a special episode 50 that plays on the show's tropes and does it spectacularly.
今の音は何かがスローモーションになった音だ。ってことは演出が。
そうだよ、お兄ちゃん。
よ。どうしたんだ。お前だけやけにコントラストがついて。ビビビビビビ。ガンムラタキデでダブセビザデで五千山。ドカーン。
Aha! This only proves what I knew. They could have chosen any character to get blowed up, but they chose this one. This one who is uniquely evil. This one who can die 1,000 times and yet never repent. This one for whom it is impossible to balance the scales of justice. And no, I'm not done complaining about this. Not until I at least witness his death in triplicate. With a catchy montage.
Overall, bringing Kamen Rider back as a cop drama, not just a tokusatsu series, was the smartest thing ever, as it really amped up the drama and you really got to know these characters on top of just being the everyday superhero. It is just spectacular all around to watch cops who are competent and work with our main hero, not to mention the villains that are quite threatening. Thus, Kamen Rider Kuuga definitely deserves a 5 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. Not everything is perfect, but I don't care, for this show excels in everything it attempted to do, whether it failed or succeeded in that regard. Not to mention, once again, the cop drama aspect might entice people who aren't Toku fans to watch and enjoy it. This is a series that should be watched by everyone, for you will most likely not be disappointed. Unless you really just want like gimmicky toy stuff, then you're probably going to be disappointed. But whatever. It is free to watch in Tokusatsu, so check it out. Until next time, bye.